Welcome to the 12th episode of Cruz Boxing Scorecard. It's your boy, Crucito el Vago.
What's up, everybody? It's Henry. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are excited. This weekend's boxing was a little crazy because my emotions were up and down because there were some great fights this weekend. There were some great fights, and then there was one fight that kind of hurt my soul. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Doo-doo.
Oh, my God. So who won? Jake Paul won, of course, by unanimous decision. All three judges had him winning. Two of the judges had him winning 79-73. One judge had him winning every single round. I'm not surprised. Listen, people, this fight was sanctioned, right? This fight was sanctioned fight. So it is a pro event.
I think, is he the oldest ever to fight at a pro event?
56?
He's 58.
58? I think Foreman was 50. And then what about Hopkins?
He was 48.
Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of, I think, Roy Jones also fought, at the later years.
Yeah, but isn't Tyson older than Roy Jones?
Yeah, it's just crazy, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Tyson hasn't fought since June 11th of 2005. That was his last pro event. And it showed in the ring. His age showed. I was kind of scared. It reminded me of, your older uncle, still trying to say he got it, but his knees is buckling. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe that he actually went in the ring. But the $20 million that he got for that fight did, I understand why. 20 million reasons why he's going to step in that ring, right? Henry, what'd you think about that fight?
I was not surprised as to what happened because this is what I expected the entire time. Come on, dude. Guy's 60 years old, fighting a guy half his age. They're constantly promoting it, gassing it up, making Mike Tyson look great. But I'm like, come on.
It was too much.
I don't know what to say. I'm not a fan of that fight.
I watched the fight twice, and going back, you could tell he's older. You could tell he hasn't had a pep to his step. But the way his legs looked, even in the second round, his knees were like buckling, and he didn't even get hit. He was just walking around.
Yeah.
Jake Paul did run around a lot in the ring. He won the fight. He was faster. He was stronger. Because of that, he won the rounds by the points, which makes sense. The younger, stronger fighter won. I don't think Mike Tyson should get back in the ring ever again. I think he should go into the sunset and
he did better. He did better than those MMA fighters
That's so funny.
Jake Paul fought. I'm just saying.
Willie got knocked out.
Just saying.
Which is crazy. He still got, the thing is, it's so nostalgic because his movements just bring me back to when I was a kid watching him fight. Like the head movements and the way he just attacks you. It reminds me kind of like a jaguar, preying on its prey. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, bro? Come on, bro. Watch the fight.
I know.
He couldn't really even catch jabs on him, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm telling you is that
Jaguar
it brought me back to when he was a Jaguar.
Grandpa Jaguar.
Yeah, well, he's lost. Shit.
Come on, bro. Honestly, the fight was trash. Even though it had whatever mad people were watching the fight. But what were people? I wanted Tyson to win, of course, but because it's a nostalgic thing. But after that second round, I was like, oh, this is done. This is done.
From a marketing perspective for Jake Paul, this makes total sense, right? Fight one of the most legendary fighters of the world, beat him up, make it look easy, and then have real fighters say, all right,
you beat an old man.
You beat an old man. Come fight me. But the whole idea shift is the real fighters are saying, now come fight me, right? Before they were like, we're not gonna fight Jake Paul. Yo, Better Beef said some shit about that too.
Yeah, because people feel some type of way. Bro, you fought an old man, and you're making millions and millions of dollars.
It was the heaviest Jake Paul's ever been in the ring. He was a lot slower, and we'll see. We'll see what his next fight is. Hopefully, he'll fight, an up and coming boxer. I mean, he could technically, even if he just fights a big name boxer, it's gonna be a payday. It's gonna be a payday. That's all it's gonna be.
He's definitely gonna get an L.
He shit, unless he fights someone like Tyson Fury's little brother, on that caliber, because that fight was pretty close.
Yeah,
that fight was closer than anything.
But he's fighting some other MMA fighter, trying to pull a Jake Paul.
Yeah,
so
I'll
he's gonna get kicked in the face.
A few things from this event that kind of caught my eye. The first one, the celebrities that they had commentating. Netflix hosted the event, and Rosie Perez was commentating, and I give her a round of applause. Everybody knows she's a boxing fan from the 90s. She's been following Mike Tyson with his career since day one. But her analytic skills for the ring was amazing, and she was just like, oh, and there's another left, right? She was commentating the whole event. She commentated that Mario Barrios fight was legit. I think she could have a job. I really think she could have a job as being a commentator. The other thing that really got me upset was who the hell hired Cedric the Entertainer to
big facts.
What the hell? This guy don't know. I mean, I was ready. I was ready to be like, oh man, Cedric's here. I'm gonna laugh. Nah, not one bit. I think that he just dropped the ball in it. I don't think he did his homework. I think this was probably one of his first sports events that he kind of hosted, commentated.
You shouldn't.
And he was just kind of throwing funny jokes, but he wasn't. He was throwing funny jokes while Andre Ward was kind of giving the side eye, like this, well, the two jabs that left and right. You know what I'm saying? He was just out of there, and I don't ever want to see Cedric the Entertainer commentating on a boxing event. Rosie Perez, you're invited. You are invited to the cookout.
She's been invited forever.
Forever. All right, so the real main event though for that night was Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor.
Yep.
Katie Taylor won by unanimous decision, 95-94, and she got a point taken away for her excessive headbutts. It would have been 96-94 out of a 10-round fight. But I don't think the judges got it wrong at all. I had the fight almost the same. I had the fight 96-93. I had Taylor winning one more round than the judges. She was just more accurate, And what I loved about that fight was the championship rounds. They went toe to toe. And they were banging out. I'm like, whoa, it reminds me of the first fight, how crazy it was. We went to MSG to watch that fight. That fight was crazy. Henry, what do you think about that fight?
I thought it was closer. Honestly, I was kind of thinking more of closer to a draw, to be honest. I know it could be off, but I kind of saw it different in a sense because I felt like she was constantly getting Amanda was constantly getting headbutted the time. And I know there was a point taken, but I think that she was skilled, but she's also getting really old, and you can kind of tell that she's not getting there. But I don't know, man. I'll be honest. Obviously, Taylor won that fight, in a sense, but I was kind of seeing it on the eye because I'm a fan of Serrano, but I'm also thinking her career is pretty much over at this point too. So I think it was this is her last hurrah in a sense.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with the judges, you know what I mean? But I kind of also don't. I think it was a closer. I see Taylor winning that fight, though.
It was super close. I think Katie Taylor has Amanda Serrano's number. Just like how certain fighters, they keep fighting each other, and you're gonna get to know. But she adapts well. Katie Taylor just was, like I said, was more accurate. If you're not a real boxing aficionado, their stance is your orthodox or southpaw, which the southpaw, their left hand is their power, so their right is their jab. When those two fighters, when there's opposite stance in fighting in a ring, there's an increased chance of headbutts, and that's just for every single round. You know, it just increases. But it was like a little suspicious. You know what I'm saying? The headbutts that kept on happening were super suspicious because she was just kind of throwing her head in. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, but she was leading. That was like the way she fights. It opened up a gash on Amanda Serrano's left eye that in the beginning was noticeable. And okay, now she's bleeding. But then in the later round, the gash opened up so big. It was.
I'm surprised they let that fight keep on going too.
They had the doc look at it.
Yeah,
they had the doc look at it. The doc was like, "Okay, just keep it going." And round of applause for Amanda Serrano for just keep on going, and because that's damaging. She must have got at least 30.
Because if they let it pass, I believe it's when you let it pass the third round, right? Then they'll bring it to the scorecard. So they could have ended the fight earlier too. Yeah. So that could have happened, and it could have been like a draw.
Yeah, man.
Depending on what round it would happen. And that's kind of like where I was kind of seeing it too. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Taylor's the younger fighter too. So, much power to her. It's another W. You know what I'm saying? So, like, maybe Amanda's time for her to hang up the gloves too.
You know, she's good though. But, like, I can't say. I don't think that's true. I won't agree.
But she kept on saying she's a flyweight. She's a flyweight. Yeah. So, she might just go down and wait too. So
Katie Taylor is one of the best women fighters of this generation. I put her up there with Clarissa Shields with talent. You know, she does have a loss, but she did avenge her loss. But she's just that great. I don't think because she's that great, Amanda Serrano should retire. I think Amanda Serrano just didn't have it in the first fight, and she didn't have it in this fight, and she was just edged out. She threw powerful punches. They connected, but they weren't precise. Taylor's punches were super accurate. It was just,
you think she got like outclassed? Is what you're saying?
A little, by a little bit, but not but like, the whole fight. So I don't know. I don't think Amanda should retire. I think she should keep fighting and put a name out there for women's boxing too. I wouldn't mind seeing a third fight.
It's not a bad age to retire at though. She's 36. That's like the right time to retire. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't really see guys retiring at 42 and not getting their ass beat for the last like 3 fights they've been.
Yeah. It is an age that a lot of boxers do retire. I think she has a lot of gas left. I think she could keep going. The fight before that fight was another amazing fight. And it was against Mario Barrios versus Abel Ramos. This fight was so entertaining. I was connected to the TV and connected to these fighters. It was a split decision draw. Javier Alvarez had it 112-114. Mike Ross had it 116-110. And Douglas Robinson had it 113-113. I had that fight a draw too. I had it 113-113. Mario Barrios, he came out strong. He came out like the warrior that he is, the Aztec warrior that he is, and he put Ramos down in the second, and he got back up, right? The 6th round was the round that Mario Barrios hit the canvas, and viciously too. Like, he went down, he got hit like 3 times before he went down. But at the end of that round with that knockdown, I had it a tie. I had it a tie on the 6th. And then Ramos came through and started winning 7, 8, 9. But when the championship rounds came, 10, 11, and 12, Mario Barrios put his big boy pants on and started whooping ass. And because he won those last 3 rounds, that edged off the first 3 rounds of the later half of the fight. This fight was so good, they need to run it back. This was a championship fight for a 147 belt. And because it was a tie, Barrios got to keep his title.
Right.
Run it back. These guys' styles.
They should run it back. They definitely should run it back.
The winner of that fight, I think, should get Ennis Boots. I mean, Ennis Boots is I think the top dog at 147 right now.
Yes.
This fight was just amazing. It was top notch. Ramos somehow kicked it into second gear in the middle of the fight. And, I've said this again and again, you have to adapt or you die in the ring, and he adapted. Unfortunately, he ran out of gas in the championship rounds. You need a little bit more stamina. You need a lot more stamina to win when you fight someone that's very close to your talent. Henry, so you want Ennis Boots for Barrios or for Ramos?
I think Mario Barrios, man. But you know what? They should do a rematch again, right? And see who wins that fight. It's kind of mixed right now in the welterweight division where you're not seeing a lot of Americans like we used to see like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, right? I think number 2 is Connor Ben. His ratio's not so bad. 23 fights, 14 KOs.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
You know what I mean? He could fight him. I think this other guy that he was fighting, Abel Ramos, it's time for him to be like, all right, let's go back into training camp. If he does get a rematch and just watch that fight over and over. Not saying Barrios is not going to do the same thing, but he's got to catch him with those punches again and take the W.
Mario Barrios is 6 foot tall.
But this other guy was what, 5'5". He was not that much taller.
He did look
like 5'11", 5'10", or something like that.
He had to be at least like 5'9", 5'8". He was smaller, but Barrios, I think he fights. He's
a tall dude, which is surprising.
He is crazy, right? He could fight at 154, and I think he did fight at 154. He lost to Tank Davis.
He's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
Yeah. Yeah,
you could tell the difference in the height in it, but that fight was crazy. That if you haven't seen that fight,
it's only 3 inches, guys.
She said that.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
She said, "Yeah, it's but like I said before, that fight was crazy, action packed. Please, these fights, this whole weekend was crazy. Like I said, there was the last fight. Well, these 3 fights that we just talked about was on Friday through Netflix. A couple things I want to mention before I go into the Saturday fight. One, Netflix, you dropped the ball. What's going on? Buffering? We're in 2024. We all pay you money to get these full streaming. I've been rocking with you since you were mailing me DVDs. You need to fix this. Amazon Prime, no buffering. DAZN, I never see no buffering with DAZN. Fix your shit, Netflix. I got upset.
Fix your shit, Netflix.
Second thing, what the fuck was Mike Tyson thinking during the interview between the Taylor and fucking Serrano fight? Do you remember he showed his fucking ass when he walked away with the fucking chaps?
That's fucking, that's quintessential Mike Tyson right there,
Yo,
bro. You don't give a shit.
Yo, I just picture like middle American family in Ohio, like little 5-year-old Timmy, just like, Daddy, that's Mike Tyson, right? Ooh, that's Mike Tyson. I don't like him. Yo, this is fucking nasty, bro.
I saw a meme where it was 2 loaves of bread put together, and they're like really poofed up, and they're like, that's Mike Tyson's ass.
The next day, we had a fight on DAZN. A lot of viewers didn't watch this fight. A lot of viewers, John Jones fought that night in the UFC, so not too many people watched this fight live. But if you did, this fight was, I would say top 5 fights of the year. That's how good it was. It was a cruiserweight fight. That means between 175 and 200. These guys both weighed in at about 199 pounds. They're close to heavyweight.
So I think first round, Billiam Smith was like, okay, he looks really good, right? And they're just, I heard them talking about like, Zurdo looks flat-footed. And I'm just like watching this fight. I'm like, I don't think so. And bro, Zurdo dominated.
Zurdo did win, right? I had the fight 117 to 111. Zurdo. His real name is Gilberto Ramirez.
Gilberto Ramirez, yep.
Yeah, I was so surprised how light on his feet he was. The way he looked reminded me of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah, like it gave like a old school look too, though.
Yeah, and then he fought like a David Benavidez. He was
nice.
He's nice. His footwork's amazing for his weight. He was just outclassing Billiam Smith. he was with his footwork. He was making angles and taking advantage of those angles and just bop, bop,
Right.
bop,
Look,
bop.
yo, the fight was really good because like I rewatched it. Dude was nasty. Like all I saw was Caleb win like 3 rounds. That was it. And it was just the first round, and I think like the 4th round. And
Billiam, you mean Billiam?
Yeah,
Billiam
Yeah,
Smith.
my
Chris.
bad. My bad. Chris.
Caleb.
CBS. Whatever. Whatever. I didn't think he looked too good, and the fact that I think that Gilberto was nice because you got to realize he fought big. He fought. His L is from Bivol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which means like he's already fought top notch guys.
Yeah.
So like he knows what it is to get beat up and just be like, okay, and be more skillful because obviously he's adapted.
He's learning.
Yeah,
learning.
exactly.
Every fight he's fighting, he's getting better.
Dude's nasty. You know what I'm saying? But as far as what the like who was the ref was Harvey Dock, which he's been getting a lot of bad looks lately. Because I remember Ryan Garcia doesn't like him because he did the fight with him with what's his name?
Haney? Or
yeah, the baby Haney. Yes.
Okay.
He did that fight, and a lot of fighters actually don't like him. So when I saw, I was like, oh snap! Like he's doing this fight, and then what the judges saw, Dion Duarte had 116, 112. Mark Lyson had 116, 113, and then Steve Weisfeld, which if you know who Steve Weisfeld is, he was part of Showbox. He was one of those guys. So I always trust Steve Weisfeld. He's pretty good. So he was 116, 112, same as Dion Duarte.
You know, Steve Weisfeld is a veteran judge.
Yeah.
It was crazy to a point where the fight was so well matched between styles. Billiam Smith really didn't have any footwork. His defense wasn't there. You know,
and they almost stopped the fight too because of his eye.
Yeah, and those were all punches. Those were not headbutts. I don't care what anybody said.
There were a lot of them were saying no. I honestly thought they were all punches too. None of them were really headbutts. But what was happening was a lot of the announcers were just the commentators were saying if they let this fight stop because of it, they should have stopped the fight from last night from Serrano because that fight was crazy. So I'm like, all right, that's one thing I was like, because he was getting beat up. I was like, yeah.
Both
surprised no knockout.
Both fighters are strong though. The way that Billiam Smith was hitting Zurdo, he had power behind those arms. That's why it was so entertaining because he was hitting and you could tell he was strong. But it reminded me of when Canelo and Triple G fought and the way how both of them are super strong, hitting each other, but you know, Canelo kind of ate a lot of those punches, and so did Triple G. Zurdo ate basically all the punches that Billiam Smith gave to him, but Billiam Smith could not, his chin wasn't as strong as Zurdo's, so that gave Zurdo the edge for the points in the round. The judges definitely look at to see who hits harder, who's more accurate.
Oh, he had all that.
It was an amazing fight, man. I think this weekend's fights were really good. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you haven't done so, go back and watch them. If you have, go back and watch them.
Yeah, that fight was on the Zone, by the way.
That one's on the Zone. Crazy fight.
Really good.
Zurdo, I don't know why, but De La Hoya was trying to promote this fight. And I know he had a lot of competition because of the UFC fight. But did you see? He had the nerve. I don't know if this is true, but he said everybody needs to watch this fight because Usyk said he'll come down to cruiserweight to fight the winner of this fight.
I think he's just lying.
He's crazy,
but
man.
He's also, the prince basically is running the whole thing. So maybe who knows? Because the fight's next month, and then he's gonna be like, you know what? If he wins.
And what's a Riyadh season fight?
Yeah, so if he wins, he might stay as heavyweight. If he loses, he might go back down.
You know,
who knows?
Yeah, I was so surprised how this guy, the way he moved. Like I mentioned again,
Zurdo looked good.
Zurdo looked amazing. And I think stay at cruiserweight. You lost to Bivol. That was probably a light heavyweight at 175. You look good at cruiserweight. There's not much talent in cruiserweight. I think stay there, start mopping up, clean the freaking weight class and stay there. Don't move up to don't move up to heavyweight. There's too much trouble there. Don't move down to light heavyweight. There's too much trouble there. Better Beef is king in that weight class.
Yeah.
But talk about, the heavyweights. Next fight, Henry.
Oh, yeah. It's next month. Can't wait for that fight. It's going to be a good time. It's on, I believe, December 21st, which is on a Saturday before Christmas. And, yeah, I'm excited,
It's in Saudi Arabia, so it's going to be an early fight. But Usyk has his rematch against Tyson Fury. Henry, I know we've kind of mentioned this before, but who do you think, now that, we've seen training, now that you've seen the Hitman, Usyk going on promotion, does your prediction stay the same? And if not, for the listeners who are just joining us, who do you have winning that fight?
I personally think that Tyson's going to win this fight. And I think it's because he didn't really, apparently, he was taking it easy. You know what I mean? He's been taking it easy these last couple of fights. Maybe he's like, this is it for me. I got to win it. I got to take it back again. If he wins this, take it back again.
Imagine Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk.
Crazy.
Yo.
That would be insane.
Yo, Gypsy's taking over the world.
Facts. Facts. But if Usyk takes it, bro, I like his skill. He's got to basically knock down Fury multiple times to solidify the W. I think they're going to give it to Fury. I don't know.
They're in Saudi Arabia, so you have a lot of UK dudes over there.
I don't know, but
that's what you got.
That's kind of what I'm
Tyson
thinking,
Fury.
man. I think Tyson Fury's going to take it.
I've been a fan, and I'm going to tell you this much. I'm going to tell you the same exact prediction from the first fight they had. Alexander Usyk is going to win. He's going to win, and this time, he's going to win by knockout. And people, mark my words, people, he's going to win by knockout, or the ref is just going to stop the fight.
TKO.
It's going to be by TKO. Alexander Usyk already has 12 rounds with him. Tyson didn't look great. He's just too good.
Yeah.
Henry, I know we've
said
that
conference too was funny as hell when he came in as the Hitman.
Yo. All right, so I know we said we were going to bet on a few fights, and I think this is a great bet, right? I think for that fight, you have Tyson Fury, I have Alexander Usyk. The loser has to wear a hot dog costume on the podcast.
Chill.
On the podcast.
Oh yeah?
On the podcast.
A glizzy costume
the
on
glizzy,
the podcast.
Henry got a glizzy costume for Halloween. And whoever loses has to wear the glizzy costume for that podcast.
Okay. I got it. There we go.
Somehow this glizzy costume is going to disappear if Tyson Fury wins.
It's in my trunk. It's all right.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to just let you guys know to tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your sisters, tell your brothers, tell your cousins to like, share, and subscribe.
Absolutely. Listen to what this guy says. He knows what he's talking about.
Peace.
Later.